A fiery crash on I-25 closes part of the interstate for about an hour tonight.
Check out the video. This happened just south of Fountain about 7 o'clock tonight. Look at that. Witnesses say two vehicles were headed south and they collided. The SUV you see there spun out of control and rolled onto the shoulder. Some people at that scene, though, were able to pull the driver out of the vehicle before it burst into flames. You can tell from the intensity of that fire the SUV was simply a charred ruin at the end of the whole thing. Good thing others were there to help.
And across town, at least one person is out of their home displaced by a small fire this morning. Colorado Springs firefighters were called to the Skyway Plaza condominiums on the west side of the city around 6 o'clock this morning. A resident called 911 when he smelled smoke and heard an alarm sounding from a nearby condo. Firefighters found the fire in a bedroom of a second-floor unit and put it out. Investigators have not released a possible cause to this fire.
This crash happened around 1:30 this morning near where Barrett Road meets the highway. The State Patrol says 3 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old were in a Honda Accord, and the driver apparently lost control, rolling at least one time, hitting a culvert.
The driver, a 16-year-old girl, and one passenger were taken by Flight for Life to the hospital with serious injuries. The other 2 passengers also hospitalized. We don't know the names of the passengers or the driver because they are minors. They haven't been released.
Last night, a driver here on I-25 called 911 when he saw the smoke from the highway, which is just about a mile away from the house. An orange glow comes through the window as firefighters try to get the upper hand.
We just heard some blood-curdling screaming in the middle of the night. I mean, it was frightening.
That screaming, says the next-door neighbor, was coming from one of the kids who lived at the home.
Those 4 victims apparently were able to jump from the second-story window on the back side of the house. 5
family members were taken to the hospital. Hours later, fire crews are still on scene putting out the hot spots. Neighbors say they couldn't believe what they saw.
The flames were just coming out of the top of the roof.
Fire investigators tell 11 News the family will probably be okay, saying they're lucky to be.
3 people are killed in a traffic crash on Highway 50 about 18 miles east of Pueblo this afternoon. Colorado State Patrol says Miguel Reyes was driving an SUV eastbound when he crossed the center line and crashed head-on into a pickup. Mr. Reyes was killed along with 47-year-old Darla Jackson and 46-year-old Lon Jackson, who were in the pickup. State Patrol says the impact was so strong, seatbelts and airbags didn't do any good.
Seatbelts were in use in the pickups. Both the driver and the passenger were wearing a seatbelt. The driver of the Escalade was not wearing a seatbelt. Airbags were deployed in both vehicles.
There's no word on what caused the crash. State Patrol is waiting on toxicology results to determine if drugs or alcohol were a factor. A rollover accident last night leaves a police dog fighting for his life. Colorado Springs officer Brent Ambuel, a 6-year veteran, is reportedly okay, but his police dog Hunter has suffered internal injuries and remains under the care of a veterinarian. 52-year-old Michael Riggs slammed into the police sport utility vehicle at Austin Bluffs and Academy, injuring both the drivers and the dog. Ambuel was responding to a call of a man with a gun when the crash occurred. Riggs was cited for careless driving and failure to yield to an emergency vehicle.
Shannon, firefighters call it self-combustion. It's not common, but it can happen. And whether it's linseed oil or paint thinner like this, just tossing a chemical-soaked rag to the side can start a fire. A ball of fire, that's what you see in these pictures.
This picture is taken across the street.
Rhonda Jongling grabbed her camera when she heard a strange noise coming from her neighbor's house.
I kept hearing these pops sound like fireworks, and I opened up the door, and the house was on fire.
Those pops came from ammunition that was exploding, bullets that were stored in the garage.
It was devastating. I was sad, and I started crying.
Firefighters say this house went up in flames when a linseed oil-soaked rag combusted in the garage. When the chemical on the crumpled-up rag mixes with oxygen, the reaction can cause enough heat to get the rag to burn. It spreads, and you get this.
You're speechless. You're watching this house going up, and the first thing that comes to your mind are the people. Are the people okay? Are the people safe?
The house is boarded up, and the couple who lived here told me they're just glad they got out in time.